Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn and welcome to the channel. We have some more reaction content for you, and today we are checking out Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. And this, I am told, is a CRPG. CRPG used to stand for Computer RPG to differentiate between tabletop RPGs like classic Dungeons & Dragons and RPGs that you play on the computer, like Baldur's Gate, which was a CRPG on the computer. It's a tabletop anyway. And today, CRPGs, the RPG as a genre has gotten very, very vast, very, very wide. And so CRPG is meant to be a subgenre within RPG that tries to classify itself as a classic RPG, I believe is what the C stands for now. And what they mean by that is something that still functions as though it is a computerized version of a tabletop game. If you want modern examples of this, the most recent and most successful one would be Divinity Original Sin 2. Now, some people will be like, isn't that just a tactics RPG? Yes, but it also has relative like tabletop mechanics in terms of like charisma checks and stuff like that, where a hard tactics game, if you think of something like Disgaea or XCOM or even Final Fantasy Tactics, doesn't have those things. They are just a combat to a combat to a combat, where this has role-playing elements within it in terms of being able to pass-fail, have your own type of personality, and that's what I'm told that Rogue Trader is going to be. I've not seen anything for this yet beyond being told to check it out, and then I was figured out that it was a CRPG from the description of the video. So let's actually see if we're anywhere close to accurate. Owlcat Games. Have they made anything else? I don't recognize the name. Anime.
For millennia, our esteemed dynasty has served the Imperium of Man, bringing forth worlds from the darkness of the void and into the light of holy terror. Yet I am but an instrument of his will, a sword in his hand. In his great wisdom, the Emperor bestowed a sacred mission upon his followers most true. To explore the frontiers uncharted. To claim relics unthinkable. To thwart threats unnumbered. And I too, come the day I dread, will leave this mission to you, my heir. What will your fate be? One of service? Of glory? Of heresy? One can only hope it will be better than mine.
That's a Necron colony. You're damn right you can hope that your fucking fate's gonna be better than yours if you're gonna go fight Necrons. You're screwed. Interesting. Okay, so one of the things that I really like give them credit for, right, is this one right, this screen right here, the first classic CRPG in the Warhammer 40k universe, because that is actually a massive selling point for this game. Because so if you don't know, Games Workshop, the people that are behind Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40k, their license is practically worthless. Not actually worthless, but what I mean by that is that you can be the most no-name, garbage-ass video game developer you've ever imagined. They're like, you want to use our license to make a video game? Absolutely, here you go. And so we have this massive amount of Warhammer 40k games, a very significant number of which are mediocre at best. The other thing is that for people that are invested in the Warhammer 40k world, the universe is one of the things that is so appealing about it. And I don't mean appealing as like, I want to be there. It's just cool. It's a very unique world and setting. But very few Warhammer 40k games delve into that setting. because most of them are focused on the aesthetic and applying that aesthetic like a bucket of paint onto some other video game franchise or genre, I guess is the word that I should use. So if we like Warhammer 40k Space Marine, fantastic game, but it does not explore the nuances or the story or the world really of Warhammer 40k at all. It is just Warhammer 40k paint applied onto a pretty damn decent FPS game. If you look at something like Necromunda Underhive, it is a 40k game that is pasted onto a Doom boomer shooter blueprint, essentially. They don't explore the world, they don't explore the story, it is just Doom with Warhammer 40k paint on top of it. If you take Mechanicus, Warhammer 40k Mechanicus, it is just Warhammer 40k paint painted onto Diablo, which, if you enjoy these games, that's perfectly fine, and putting a known franchise IP setting onto another genre is fine and can make that feel unique, but they never explore the nuances of the Warhammer 40k universe. This being a CRPG in which so much of CRPGs is talking to people and exploring the world and getting to know different NPCs and building up your story and choosing your path, that means that one of the big appeals of this game will be that it is so focused on the actual core Warhammer 40k setting as the general foundation of the entirety of the game. Don't expect the combat to be super in-depth. If it is, sweet. Like Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2 both had excellent combat systems, but those combat systems were just such a delectable complementary dish to go alongside a really cool world, a really cool setting with a fun story and neat characters, right? And I'm hoping that we see something similar here. We're not pushing any graphical fidelity, boundaries, breaking any limits, but it will be one of the first experiences that genuinely at least tries to pitch itself as a Warhammer 40k experience that is focused on the world, the story, and the setting, which is cool. That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that because it's something that, as they themselves point out, we don't have. Looks interesting, but honestly, 40k is so vast, it's just difficult to get into due to the depth of the actual lore. Feels like it needs a wealth or a sea of knowledge about it all. I know what you're talking about. Warhammer 40k is massive. It is super vast. But one of the nice things about 40k is that if you are able to get to the point where you just have kind of a general overview of the general idea of what the universe is and what's happening and why things are the way they are, after that, you can kind of just try to see which faction or race appeals to you the most, and then explore that race's or factions like deeper levels of who they are and what they are and why they are the way that they are. And sometimes like people will be like, man, orcs are sweet, I love orcs, and so they just go all in on orcs, and they can tell you a lot about orcs. And then you're like, what about Tau? And they're like, I don't know, we've fought them a couple of times, they got like stupid space suits and stuff, I guess. I don't know, what do you want to know about Tau? I know about orcs, man. But also sometimes you'll be like, all right, guardsmen are sick, I'm going to learn about guardsmen. And then as you learn about guardsmen, you're like, oh man, the guardsmen fought the Tyranids at one point and got fucking decimated. But the Tyranids kind of sounded cool. And then you can go down the rabbit hole that way. But it isn't actually that difficult to get that initial overview of the universe, that surface level understanding of basically there are no good guys and everybody's fucked, and it's a very dystopian, pseudo post-apocalyptic universe that all of these different factions and races are trying to carve out their own existence in. It'll be cool to go through the different worlds of Warhammer this way. I'm curious how many different worlds we go to, because as we just talked about, Warhammer 40k is massive. And our mother, I guess, just like the very last shot is them focusing on this necropolis here, which, I mean, you could put an entire setting for any game on basically a single planet. And I don't know if there will be Necrons in this game. For those that need context, Necrons are robot zombies, is the best way to describe them. They are robot zombies that are able to rebuild themselves basically infinitely. you cannot truly destroy them unless you, like, essentially break up all their parts like a fucking lich, man. They're lich robots, and they're awful. Okay, everything in 40K is awful. There are, like I said, there are no good guys. But I didn't see anything in here. We got, like, some gross dudes and, like, just some normal-looking guys. What are these plague guys? I'm not even sure. This looks slightly Eldar-y. And then we got, like, just some Imperium-looking guys. And you could go an infinite number. Like, this looks kind of chaos-y. This definitely looks like a chaos shrine of sorts. So, chaos are demons. There are humanoid factions that exist within those. But, yeah, so... Rip of Reapers from Mass Effect. I know these came first. I'm poking at you. It's an acceptable poke. A pope? No, I don't want the Reapers to be the pope. Their adventures begin in the vast Coronis expanse, a treacherous region of unexplored space at the edge of humanity's domain. While traveling between the stars, get ready to come across potential allies and dangerous enemies of the Imperium. Chaos cults and alien Xenos counting among the most treacherous and deadly. Chaos is always a threat, and, like, you know, the thing is, when they say alien Xenos... that doesn't tell us almost anything, because there's a lot of aliens that exist in 40K, which is cool. And there's a lot of unique races with their own history and background in them. And so regardless of how much they explore this is something that I am just, if you can't tell, really excited about and super interested in, because there's too much lore and world that exists within 40K. And so my preferred medium of entertainment is video games, and being able to be delivered a more genuine lore dive as a video game in a world and a setting that I enjoy is exciting. It's very exciting. That's super cool. I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, this gameplay looked... like, okay, so, like, these shots of, like, where you're at, like, a setting, this just looks like your standard CRPG. This looks like Divinity, although some of the actual, like, action shots were really lackluster. But that's just kind of par for course in these kinds of games. You can make some really pretty spell effects, but largely it's people standing around like it was a D&D table. So, but you know what? I'm not complaining. I'm excited about the premise of what this game is pitching itself to be, and I'm looking forward to it. But you, what do you think about it? What do you think about Warhammer 40K? What do you think about the prospects of a CRPG? And what other Warhammer 40K games have you dipped your toe into, if any, or could this maybe be your first one? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. If you want to keep with the conversation elsewhere, two great places to do so are Discord and Twitter. And speaking of Discord, we actually have a channel dedicated to these reactions where you can place links of your own that we can check out together live on stream, because we do stream 4 days a week: Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. And if you do go watch one of those other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.